Tired? Great. Okay. Good. That's great. Okay. All right. In the previous session that we had, which was your skill enhancement session, me and Tushita had combined. In that session, we discussed with you various tools and various hard skills, soft skills, etc., that you can use into your daily life as a student, as a working professional, etc. So, in today's session, as we promised to you people, that we're going to bring an industry expert who will guide us for the data analytics. What is it? What is data science? What are the tools, etc. And so we have today with us Soumya Dhingra. She's an expert in this field. She is an machine learning engineer, and she is an India industry expert. So she is going to guide us as to how can it be beneficial for us, and what all, as student, as professional, as somebody who is trying to get into the industry, should know about all of these things. So welcoming Soumya, thank you for taking out time for this particular session and guiding our students.
Thank you, Punya. Thank you, BeingACCA, for bringing me on. And thank you, everyone, for joining this session. Yeah, hope everyone's having a good weekend. We're going to have Monday blues tomorrow, but today's Sunday, so let's make the most of it. And yeah, I'll get to a bit about myself later. I'll do a little introduction later on in this slide, but let's deep dive and start. Like, I'm assuming all of you are students, working professionals, freshers who are just very excited to jump into their careers and most probably in finance field. So let me begin by asking you something. Imagine yourself working in finance, right? The domain, whether it's an accounting team or consulting or corporate finance or even investment analysis, right? What do you think will make someone stand out in today's competitive environment? You can start putting your answers in the chat box. What skills do you think will put you ahead of all the other colleagues you're going to have? AI, definitely. And I mean, of course, strong knowledge of your accounting standards, financial reporting principle, taxation rules, all of that is important. They are the foundations of the career. Yes, adaptability to latest skills. But what kind of softwares? Mm-hmm. You should be an efficient employee, yeah, and deliver within your deadlines. Very good. Yes, Python, SQL, Power BI. This is what we'll be talking about today. So, yeah, as you all know, like the reality with AI is increasingly companies are looking for professionals who can go beyond the numbers, who can go beyond the regular tasks. They want people who can analyze the reports and identify meaningful trends. And from those reports, somebody who can spot the risks and opportunities in your data. They need somebody who can provide actionable insights so that your manager's jobs get easier because they're able to make decisions very easily. And of course, you combine all of this with your financial knowledge and with AI, with technology to drive efficiency, right? Finance today is no longer just about recording or managing numbers, right? It's about interpreting complex data and turning it into business value. And with AI and automation becoming more and more common, companies expect more of employees. They expect you to understand the data. First of all, that would be your business knowledge. Second, they would expect you to leverage technology and ultimately use all that to make informed recommendations, right? And all that allows us to be a better and efficient employee, right? You want to be ahead of everyone. And the skills that will allow you to do all of that is data analytics. right? Data analytics will allow you as a professional to answer confidently to questions like what is driving change in revenue, which business segments are performing the best, where are we losing efficiency, or where can the profits increase. These are the trends that leadership pays attention to, right? And these are the reports you're going to help generate with data analytics. So, in today's session, in the next slide, you'll see we're going to cover a few important things. Right. So, we'll first talk about why data analytics is becoming such an important skill for all professionals today, with a special focus, of course, in the finance and commerce field. Then we'll understand what data analytics actually means and how it fits into the larger world of data science and AI. After that, I'll introduce you to some of the key tools and technologies used in the field, including a platform that companies use regularly for analytics and automation. And we'll also look at some new interesting AI concepts and technologies. And towards the end, I'll give you a quick demo of how tools like Power BI and Power Automate are used to turn data into insights and automate the tasks. So we have a quick demo at the end, so stick around for that. Finally, we'll talk about how you can start learning these skills step by step. So on the next slide, before we dive in, right, let me take a minute to introduce myself again. I think many of you may relate to my journey. Hi, I'm Soumya, and I'm currently working as a machine learning engineer, and I have around 2 years of experience in that field. There's my LinkedIn QR code. If any of you want to connect on LinkedIn, we can chat. But the important thing I want to highlight is that this is not where I started, right? I actually come from a BCom background. I did BCom honors from Delhi University. I'm sure just like many of you here. And let me quickly check how many of you are from the BCom or BA streams? Like, put it in the chat. Let's see. Like, what have you studied or what are you currently studying? BCom, BBA, BCom. Yep. Uniform across the field, right? Yeah, so we're all from the same familiar background. I have also studied the same subjects, right? Wonderful. And of course, you all have an added advantage of ACCA. So, yeah, like many of you, I was not an engineering student. I did not come from a BTech background. And when I started exploring this field, I had almost zero technical exposure, right? So, and I say this very intentionally because one of the biggest myths people have is that technology and data careers are only for engineers, but that is simply not true anymore. I mean, before switching the fields, I was also on the same accounting and consulting career path, but I eventually realized that probably it's not something I see myself doing in the long term. And at the same time, I could see that the world around us was changing very quickly. So this is right around COVID time, 3 years ago, right? Right after COVID, especially like with technology, data, AI becoming such a huge part of how companies operate, I wanted to be a part of that new wave. So I started exploring ways to upskill myself. I took structured courses and spent time practicing and gradually building skills in first data analytics, then machine learning and data science. And I was able to transition into the IT and ML field professionally. So the point of this was, if in today's session, at any point, if you feel like this sounds really interesting, but I don't know if I can do this because I don't have a technical background, just remember something important. Everyone starts as a beginner, right? The only difference is who decides to continue learning. Yeah. So when I started exploring the technology and data roles, the first thing I encountered was data analytics. And interestingly, this is also the easiest point of entry for finance students into the tech and AI world, right? So let's understand what data analytics actually means. In simple terms, Data analytics is the process of examining data to find patterns, insights, and trends that can help companies make better decisions. As we all know, every company today generates a huge amount of data every single day. Now, what does data look like, right? Data can be sales transactions, customer purchase records, website activity, financial records, or even customer feedback, right? All of these domains have so many data that companies have to manage. But where does it start? It starts from the raw data, which in itself doesn't really mean much, right? What companies need are somebody who can analyze that data and extract useful information from it. And that's exactly where data analytics comes in. Now, on the next slide, let's look at everyday examples of data analytics. So to make it easier to understand, let's look at a few of the platforms that we already use every day. Netflix, right? When you open Netflix, you see recommendations like, because you watch this, you may also like this. Now, this is data analytics behind the scenes. Netflix and its engineers behind the scenes are analyzing what you watch, how long you watched it for, what genres you preferred, and what similar users are watching. Using all this data, they identify patterns and recommend shows to you which you are more likely to enjoy. Similarly, with Amazon suggesting products, right? You might have noticed when you're browsing products on Amazon, it often shows suggestions like customers also bought this. So, what is the rationale behind that? Amazon analyzes millions of purchase records to identify patterns between products and customer behavior. So, this will help them create buckets of users with similar purchasing history and then recommend products to ultimately drive more sales, right? And for banks, right? Another example is in the banking industry. If your card suddenly gets used in a different country or in an unusual way, sometimes the bank immediately blocks the transaction or it sends you an alert, right? How does the bank know that something is unusual? How does it flag it as an unusual activity? They do that because they have analyzed your transaction data, your spending patterns, and they have kept a record of that. If something doesn't match your normal spending behavior, it gets flagged as a potential fraud, right? So that's all using data analytics. So in all of these examples, what's happening is very simple, right? We have data. Companies are using data to understand patterns, and ultimately they're making decision on how to derive things like drive either efficiency, drive safety in the case of banks, or drive more sales in case of Amazon, right? So instead of guessing things, Amazon could be guessing, right, what would customers want or which products would sell. And they do not do guesswork, right? They rely on data to drive these insights. And the process of extracting these insights from raw data is what we call data analytics. I think simply put, that's what data analytics is. Do we have any questions at this point? Because we already, like, being from the commerce background, we have a strong advantage, right? We are used to working with numbers, interpreting information, identifying trends. It's already something we're familiar with. So I think we're good at this point, right? Everybody understands what the field of data analytics is and what it can help us achieve. Now let's look at the next slide on the importance of data analytics, right? So now this is a skill that is used across domains, right? It's not just in financial sector. It could be in IT sector. And of course, it's in IT sector. It could be in pharmaceutical sector. Any of the companies across the industries are hiring for data science scientists, and they're hiring for data analytics. And those are basically people with analytical skills. But why is that? Why is it becoming essential? Why is there a sudden surge in the demand for these professionals? Let's unpack. Like I mentioned before, right? These decisions are data driven. They cannot be guesswork. Companies need insights backed by numbers to make the strategic, informed decisions. And professionals who can interpret that data are in high demand, very simply. And the way automation and AI are reshaping our work, like routine tasks like reconciliation, report generation, data entry, are being automated. That's the reality. People are not hired to simply do those tasks anymore, but people who can automate those tasks are in demand, right? So, and what's left of those professionals are they're expected to have analytical skills to focus on high value work instead of just the mundane routine tasks, right? So this gives us an opportunity, right? This gives us a competitive edge. Professionals who can spot patterns and who can do these kinds of risk analysis and uncover opportunities for the teams and organizations will always stay ahead. And you definitely want to be a part of that group, right? You want to stay ahead of everyone. As a result of all of that, it will massively help in your career growth. Financial professionals who can analyze, interpret, and communicate these insights are definitely highly valued. And of course, you move faster into leadership, strategic, or advisory roles, right? That's the importance of data analytics. Now, let's look at the next slide because there is another term you may have heard me use or heard before that goes very often along with data analytics, which is data science. And of course, AI. So let's take a moment to understand how data analytics and data science are different, right? These are terms which are often used interchangeably, and it could be a point of confusion for most beginners that what exactly is the difference between these two. Um, and to put into mix, even machine learning is sometimes used interchangeably with data science and data analytics. While they are related, they are not the same, right? Let's think about it in three levels. Data analytics is about understanding the past. So it's about examining historical records to answer questions like what happened and why did it happen. For example, why did sales drop in the last quarter? Or how can we increase revenue or decrease our expenses? How can we understand customer behavior from our past transactions? Right. And the tools that are commonly used for this are SQL, Excel, Power BI, and Tableau, right? SQL is a tool that will help us retrieve the data from where it's stored. Excel will help us clean and prepare it. Tableau and Power BI will help us visualize and present it. Any doubts on this? Any questions so far? Okay, great. That's good. You guys are smart. You understand things quickly. Let's look at the second level. No, we're still on the same slide, please. We're still on the same slide. Perfect. So the level two, which is data science, right? Uh, that data science goes just beyond understanding the past, right? It combines statistics, it combines programming, it combines advanced analytics to predict what might happen next. And machine learning is part of data science, and that helps us to answer questions like which products are likely to be in demand next quarter, or which customers are likely to churn, right? And the tools we commonly use here are Python, R, machine learning libraries for data science specifically, right? There's a difference, and predictive modeling frameworks. So probably you all know Python is a coding language. It's the main coding language that's used across data science and machine learning. R is a programming language which is used for statistical analysis and data modeling. This is not very commonly used, right? Um, and machine learning libraries for data science give us ready-made algorithms that allow computers to learn patterns from the data we give it, right? And predictive modeling frameworks are what help us train and deploy the models so we can make the predictions. And level three, which is AI and machine learning, is the level which helps us in automating these decisions. AI and machine learning take it one step further by uh, automatically, automating these decisions and data patterns and driving the insights. So examples could be automatically approving or flagging loan applications based on historical data or risk modelings, right? It could be chatbots or AI agents analyzing customer queries and responding automatically. I think the biggest example we can see is the Swiggy chatbot. If you have used Swiggy to order and you want to cancel or you want a refund, you first go through the chatbot. So that's where machine learning and AI is coming into picture. So, what is the key takeaway, right? Data analytics is your entry point. It will help you understand and interpret the existing data. Data science and machine learning comes as the next steps. We use them to build models and to build predictions, right? And while machine learning is a subset of the larger data science, it is focused on automating tasks, right? AI is also derived from that. And most people actually start off as data analytics and then they gradually grow into data science or machine learning specialist wherever their interest flows more, right? So you can do specifically, you can focus on either machine learning, you can develop a broader overview and become a data scientist, or you can stick to just data analytics. And yeah, I think that covers the broad difference between data science, data analytics, AI. And we've also seen what data analytics actually means and why it is important. So again, I stop for any questions at this point, just to make sure everyone is understanding the concepts before we, get into the tools of how we do these things. Okay. All right. Now let's do a quick. Right. R is also a programming language, which is mainly used for the statistical analysis. Like Python is a coding language, but R is a programming language. All right. So let's do a fun quiz. Before we move forward, yeah, let's. These are just a few terms we're gonna see flash across, and which are obviously some of you might know this, and the rest of the terms are becoming very popular in the AI and data world. So, does anyone know? Punya, wait, it's a quiz. Does anyone know the full form of SQL? Very good. Yep, structured query language. Come on, we did this. SQL was part of our curriculum, right? So next slide, please. Um, SQL is a query language used to retrieve and manage data from data sets. Like imagine if a company stores millions of data records in their database, SQL can be used to extract only the sales data, say for the last quarter, right? And one of the commonly used tools is Snowflake. A lot of enterprise use Snowflake, and the language you use to query data from Snowflake would be SQL, right? Now let's look at the next slide, please. Does anyone know what IoT is? It's related to AI. You can put it in the chat box if you know what IoT stands for. Yep, Internet of Things. Very good. Yeah, so next slide, please. Internet of Things is actually like one of my favorite concepts, right? It's a network of physical devices connected to the internet that collect and share data. Example could be as simple as a smartwatch tracking your steps and heart rate and sending data to the app, right? Or it could be lights that you turn on from your mobile phone. So, yeah, that's Internet of Things. Let's look at the next slide. Gen AI. Does anyone know what Gen AI is? Yep. Simply, right? It's generative AI, which is the most common example is ChatGPT. Yep, everyone should know this. This is like we use ChatGPT every day, I'm assuming, right? Next slide, please. Yeah, it's basically a type of artificial intelligence that is focused on generating content, right? Generating content like text, images, code, voice, anything. It's generating these. Let's look at the next slide, please. Does anyone know what GitHub is? Yes, very simply put. Yeah, next slide, please. It's a platform used by developers and data professionals to store, manage, and collaborate on code and projects, right? Because, example, if a team is building a data analytics project together, right, 2 or 3 people, you can all upload your code on GitHub, and then multiple people can work on it together. So yeah, it's often used in companies, but it's also used by programmers for their personal use to store their codes, right? So, next slide, please. AI agents. Do we know what AI agents are? You must have heard this. It's like a very hot topic these days. Have you come across this term? AI agents. Okay, I'm assuming nobody has heard about it. So AI agents are AI systems that can perform tasks for you automatically by making the decisions and taking actions also. So while ChatGPT would just stop at giving you the steps on how to perform a certain task, an AI agent can go ahead and accomplish those tasks, right? Like it can read your incoming emails, it can extract the important data from that email and update it in a spreadsheet. And if you want, it can send the report also. So this whole pipeline, when we combine it, can be called an AI agent. So the reason I'm showing you these terms is to give you a glimpse of how broad the AI and data ecosystem is, right? And the good news is you don't have to learn everything at once, right? Most careers in this field actually start with a few core tools and strong data fundamentals. So does anyone know what ETL stands for? Yeah, correct. It's extract, transform, and load. So ETL is a process used to collect data from different sources, clean it, organize it, and then move it into a system for analysis. So this is one of the data engineering core concepts. So like a company may extract sales data from multiple different sources, like maybe an Excel sheet, a local computer, or Snowflake, or a cloud computer, right? Clean it and then load it into a dashboard to be used by management. So that's extract, transform, and load. Let's look at the next one. LLMs. Does anyone know what they are and what the acronym stands for? Yep, LLM stands for large language models, and they're basically advanced AI models trained on massive amounts of text data that can understand and generate human-like language, right? Like ChatGPT is the tool, but the LLM behind it is GPT-4 or GPT-5. That's what's supporting the ChatGPT tool to be able to answer our questions or summarize documents. Let's look at the next one, a data lake. Again, this is a more data engineering concept. Does anyone know what a data lake is? I mean, it's also pretty self-explanatory from the word itself. Yeah, so I think like this is a more of a corporate concept, right? This like corporations would implement a data lake, which is basically just a storage system where they can store the variety of data, right? Raw data in its original format before we use it for analysis. So yeah, like storage for all kinds of data. Let's look at the last one, API. Does anyone know what API is? Mhm. So it's API is basically it stands for Application Programming Interface, a system that allows for different applications to communicate with each other and exchange data. So, example, the weather app on your phone has an API to pull real weather time data from the weather service, and that's how it works, right? You can call different APIs into your code to perform certain tasks. All right, so we've talked about concepts, we've talked about the career opportunities, and um, now I want to show you how these ideas actually translate into the real tools that are used in companies, right? So, two of the most commonly used tools in the Microsoft Analytics ecosystem are Power BI and Power Automate. So, this is what we'll focus on for the rest of our workshop. Um, you all know like the Microsoft ecosystem is very commonly used by all companies, right? Most companies, it's either Microsoft or Google. So let's start with Power BI. It's a business intelligence tool, right? Companies use it to turn raw Excel data into interactive dashboards. We can use those dashboards to then track KPIs and measure financial performance, right? We can identify things like sales and cost and trends of all these things, right? It helps us present insights to the management or leaderships, right? Instead of using multiple Excel files or keeping managing your data there, we can basically create one dashboard that can automatically update and show us the latest data visually. That's why Power BI is heavily used in finance teams, consulting firms, business analytics teams, and even like operations team who have to measure their KPIs on a regular basis. It's very important. Now, why is Power Automate useful? Why is it our second choice of tool, right? Because it focuses on something equally important. If we have insights, we don't want to be doing this work manually, right? We need to automate it. That's where the extra step comes in. It will help us and allow us to automate repetitive workflows, right? Like sending the reports we created. We can automate that process, updating databases, moving files between systems, sending alerts where certain conditions occur. All of this can be automated using Power Automate. If we look at one full example, it would be a monthly report is generated. the invoice needs approvals. We're collecting data from emails and updating the dashboards, all happening automatically with the flows that we'll create in Power Automate. So when we combine Power BI and Power Automate, we get both sides of the modern data workflow, right? Automation and analytics. Now, now we'll look at, now instead of like just talking about these tools, I'll just show you a quick example of how they actually work in practice. Let me share my screen. One second. Okay. Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Let me know once it's visible. Okay. Right. So what you're looking at here is a Power BI dashboard, right? Um, this dashboard is for customer profitability, right? This is the type of dashboard that could be used by a CFO or a finance team to monitor company performance. The high level metrics at the top, you can see key business metrics like um, revenue, customers, products, and gross margin, right? This gives leadership a quick snapshot of the company performance. We can look at regional or business domain insights, right? By region, we have uh, region and business units right here. We can see which regions are performing and which need more attention, right? If we look at by industry, you can see how interactive it is. If I want for Gladius, yeah, imagine that's a company or a domain. We get the interactiveness of the revenue budget, the monthly charts, they all move with each other. So that's the most important and powerful feature of Power BI, right? If something looks unusual, we can click on it and see why that sector or that area is not performing well. It gives us like real time insights. We can even look at the executive scorecard. So we can see manager performance here, right? Which team helps leadership? Uh, yeah. So this is one of the key skills of data analytics, right? Any questions so far? You can learn to build dashboards like this very easily. It's not that difficult. And if I show you a few things, like this would be our data, right? This is the flow of how the tables are connected. These will be our queries. Um, and this will ultimately be our report. Now let's look at another. tool. We can insert data using simply Excel. We can use connectors like Snowflake. Yeah, there's a great scope in accounting because you're working with numbers. If you want to present it, you use dashboards, and to create dashboards, you need Power BI. Right. So Excel also has capabilities of creating charts, but it's not on the same level as Power BI, right? It is a tool specifically made for creating dashboards. Let me show you Power Automate. So Power Automate focuses on automations, right? So if we look at this flow I created for AI sentiment analysis, right? In this automation, the system analyzes incoming emails, right, using the pre-built libraries. And if the sentiment contains negative sentiment, for example, a complaint from a customer, the system can automatically send a notification to the team. And that can happen in Microsoft Teams, right? Here, as you can see. So instead of somebody manually checking each email and flagging it for certain conditions, we can automate these tasks. And as you can see here, now it has become even easier with Copilot, because with all Microsoft applications, Copilot is integrated. So we can basically do natural language querying, which is another way of saying prompt engineering, to create such flows. But then inside we have to add all the parameters, right? So basically what this does is help us automate mundane tasks. Now imagine a company, imagine a let's try to combine Power BI with Power Automate, right? Imagine an automated reporting workflow, right? Let me, Punya, can we have the slides, please? Hmm. So earlier the finance or not yet, right? So earlier the finance or operations team would probably spend uh, manual hours collecting data from different systems. But what we can do with Power Automate is data gets automatically pulled from systems like Snowflake, for example. The data is processed using the queries we give it or the code we define. Then it is sent to Power BI dashboards, right? That we have created the framework of the dashboard, but the data gets automatically updated, say monthly or weekly. And then the updated reports are automatically distributed to decision makers. It could be via email or via Teams, right? All of this can create a automated pipeline. And instead of one person spending hours building report, say for example every week or every month, this all happens automatically. And isn't that a great thing, that as a working professional you can efficiently reduce the manual hours, right? This is one of the biggest advantages of using AI. How many manual working hours can you save? So people can better focus on, you know, other tasks that are not so mundane or repetitive. So, what we saw are just examples of how analytics and automations can work together, right? And Power BI would help you analyze and visualize the data, while Power Automate would help you streamline the repetitive workflow and processes. And the important thing to understand is that these are not niche or experimental tools, right? These are technologies used every day by the teams across different domains, which means if you can develop these skills and if you can learn to build automations and learn to build dashboards in a similar way, you're not just learning the software, you're building practical skills that can be used in real life for even your own work, but also it is a highly demanded skill in all corporate, right? So that brings me to let's do a summary of what we talked about, right? We talked about data analytics, AI technologies, dashboards, and automations. And for those of you who found this field interesting and want to explore it further, we've designed a structured data analytics program. In the next slide, you can see the course curriculum for that. And this will be designed specifically for students coming from the commerce background, right? And the goal of our program will be to help students learn these skills step by step. We're going to begin from the scratch, and it's made again something for people with zero technical background, right? So let me walk you through the structure and what you can expect from this learning pathway, right? So in the full program, we will be doing step by step all of what you saw, right? We'll first start with building the foundations for data analytics. We'll understand how data works, what are the different types of data, how can you clean and prepare it. And then we'll use Excel for data pre-processing, right? We'll learn advanced Excel for analytics. We'll learn data cleaning techniques, and we'll learn how to structure the data sets. Then we'll move on to Power BI and fundamentals of Power BI with connecting data sources, data modeling, creating visualizations, and building the dashboard you just saw, right? Because with after you get a clean data set and you get a great dashboard, right? Then you can move on to the advanced features of Power BI. We'll look at DAX formulas, right? We'll look at interactive dashboards, and we will build one financial analytics dashboard in the course itself. And with Power Automate, you can expect to learn how to use the tool, how to build workflow automations. We'll be connecting it to different apps and different data sources. And we'll be taking one example for automating a reporting process, and we'll build one automated pipeline. So basically, you'll get real projects that you can showcase in your LinkedIn, or you can showcase in your resume. We'll have one dashboard, and we'll have multiple examples for you to work with, but one really good dashboard will be, right? And this will be related to the finance field. And we'll have one automated workflow, which will connect with Power BI, right? So the goal is simple. It's to help everybody from whether it be commerce or finance background or anybody with zero technical skills, uh, to basically get an entry point into this domain, but also you're learning a skill that will work with any job you get in the future. These are the top tools that professionals and across the field, right, they use every day. So to conclude, in the next slide, we covered the right course structure of the fees will be 6,000 for 12 hours, but for a limited time, we're introducing 5,000 for all of you who have stayed back. And this is a limited time. If you want to take it up, you can, of course, contact on the BeingACCA channels. And we'll do the course in 12 hours plus 1 hour there'll be another workshop for you guys at the end of the course with interview preparation for all the kinds of questions you can be asked about data analytics and data science. So this will give you the confidence for to present your projects, right? To answer any cross questionings they might have. Any questions?
All right, guys, just to add to the course curriculum that Soumya just discussed, this is something that a lot of you do generally text us as to what else that we should be doing with the qualification of your ACCA, etc. So, this is something that is going to help you out in your real life world, as Soumya mentioned regarding Copilot and Power Automate, etc. At my organization, specifically for me, I also use these Power Automates at the organization, plus at Being SSA also I use it. So it has a wide variety, of course. And you know, with the increasing amount of AI today, it is really essential for us to invest in something that is going to help us out in the future, irrespective of whatever field we get into. So this is just a starting point wherein you're going to understand all of these things, data analytics, science, automate, power automate, etc., from scratch, which Soumya will of course be taking up. And in the previous session also that me and Tushita conducted, we talked about a lot of tools that we potentially should be knowing as a student who is there in the finance and accounting profession. One of which is the first tool that we discussed today is data analytics, SQL, and all of these. So we are starting firstly with this particular course, which is going to help you out a lot in terms of the future. And yes, you do get a certificate of completion once you are done with the entire course, which is going to be accredited, and you can use it into your on your LinkedIn plus your resumes as well. So your certificates are going to be provided by us, which are going to be accredited. So the certifications, as well as you can show the Power BI dashboards that Soumya just mentioned as part of your resume, which is going to enhance again the hard skills also into your resume. So that is what the value addition of the course is. And yeah, just that, if you people have any doubts, any questions in regards to the session, or regarding the course, please feel free to chat or type down in the chat right now.
And Punya, you mentioned that even in your companies, these tools are used. And like Power BI is one of those dashboarding tools. Like it's very widely used. It's either that or Tableau, right?
Yeah.
And we given the focus to Power BI because it's a Microsoft tool. So
Yes.
even if your company isn't using Power BI, it will definitely you will have the access to use it, and you can actually be the one to bring this forward, to use it and
Introduce. Yeah.
showcase your skill. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can introduce that into your company.
Actually, when I entered the organization, they used to already use Power BI a lot for all of these things. And I did not used to know anything about it, being from again a commerce background, having to know nothing about all of these things. And these actually, when I started studying and doing the research, now actually I am getting to know a lot of better, and I am also able to contribute into the organization. So that's
Yeah.
how. So I think we have a question. How many months is the course to be completed?
I think it's 12 hours, right? So we'll keep it flexible with your ACCA exam timelines. Um, but it should not take more than 1 month. Within one
So,
month.
yeah, within 1 month, we'll try to complete it. 12 hours is what we have decided. And also for the people, because we understand that the people are also probably doing ACCA side by side. Right now, if you enroll for the course, that is the reason we shifted. We earlier was planning it in February, but then you had your March attempts. So now we have planned in such a way that you can even just devote an hour or so with the classes that we are going to have live. So no recordings. Of course, the recordings will be provided, but these classes are going to be live so that you understand, you can ask your queries live with Soumya. And the month, if you talk about approximately 2 to 3 weeks, we'll try to cover it up. And it won't take a lot of your hours, because we understand that you people are also doing ACCA and June attempt will be coming near. But right now, once you enroll, April is almost an empty month wherein you can use that actual month to um, upskill yourself and having to use that particular time and energy into better resources than to sit idle. So within April, everything will be done for this particular course, so that you can also simultaneously study for your ACC examinations, and that does not get impacted any which ways. When does the course start? Will there be only one batch? Currently, we are going to run our first batch. It's going to be in the future also. But yes, right now we'll have one batch which is going to start in the first week of April. So I think we have one more question from Shubham. What tool will be covered apart from Power BI?
Power BI and Power Automate. These are the two tools.
So we are starting with these two tools to because you people also do not have any base regarding any of the tools right now considering. So we have started with the very basic tools so that you understand those, and then you build on it with the other tools also, and it might seem easier for you people to dive into those tools as well.
And Power BI alone could be enough for data analytics, but we're including Power Automate as well because that gives us the tag of I'm able to use AI, right?
Mm.
You want to get that keyword in, like I have experience with AI. Power Automate is uh, an additional thing. You will not see many people have this skill on their resume. And y- it's like one of those things, right? AI was introduced what, 5 years ago around, but companies are hiring for AI professionals. Now, how can you hire for an advanced role in a technology or a field that is just introduced? So you might ask how that hiring process works. How do you hire AI consultants, right? They hire people from the backgrounds of data science, machine learning, data analytics, because they are the core concepts that AI is built upon. So companies go back to the foundation of it and they rely on the machine learning engineers, data engineers, um, data analysts, people who can build and train and deploy the AI systems. So you actually get an advantage of that with Power Automate.
All right, guys. So I don't think so. We don't have any other doubts. If you people have any other doubts, please feel free to drop them in the WhatsApp group that we have. Soumya is already there in that particular WhatsApp group, so she'll help you out with the same thing. Irrespective of the course, if you have any other general doubts for the same course for the session that we had today, you can put that in the chat box right now or on WhatsApp also. We are open for any of the queries, and if you want to enroll for the course, you can just text on this particular number that I've shared in the chat box, and you can just write down that you want to enroll for the course. I'll share the details for the course, etc. Details we've already discussed right now, but any other details that you want to share. The course will be starting from the first week of April. Exact details and the schedule you'll get once you enroll, or before enroll once you text, and the schedule will be shared to you so that you can check and then enroll accordingly.
And again, I
Hi,
just
hi,
want to,
hi, Soumya.
yeah,
Courses are fine. We'll definitely take that. But I posted some queries on the chat uh,
okay.
in the above, like how to get in the industry and how to learn the courses, the languages, the basic things which we would want to know.
Hmm.
So when we get to know about those things.
Right. So I think you can reach out to me personally. I cannot answer those questions for you. But overall, yeah, SQL is a querying language, right? Data exists everywhere. You use SQL to query that data. And how to learn SQL. There are many courses online. If you want, it's
Like the
we can
overall
share courses.
scope,
Yeah.
if we start now these things, how much time would we take for us to like mm,
Depends on first your learning speed and then also what is the goal, right? Is it just one tool like SQL or just one coding language like Python? Then you can target specifically those things, right? I mean, even on YouTube and stuff like that, you can find resources for specific tools. But if you want to build a skill, like, right, you want to be a data analyst, or if you want to have the analytic skills, then you focus on tools like Power BI, and you know, Tableau. You can take your pick from there. There are many resources available. If you if we're going to focus first on data analytics, right, then we're actually thinking about also doing a machine learning course in the future. So if you're interested for that, you can stick around. But again, data analytics builds the foundation for the rest of the journey.
So this course which you're offering is for Power BI and Power Analytics, right?
Power Automate. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Rest of the doubts will take on the group. So thank you everyone for joining this workshop. If you're here, you're thinking in the right direction, and I truly applaud your forward thinking. I mean, the fact that you're looking to upskill in the data analytics field in this AI biased world, right? I mean, it's going to create great opportunities for you. So thank you everyone, and good
Thank you,
night.
Sana,
Yeah.
for having this session and taking out time for this particular session. Guys, if you again reiterating, if you people have any doubts, any questions, please feel free to reach out on WhatsApp. We're always available. Som is in the group. She'll be able to answer your doubts and queries if you have in regards to a general query that you have, or in regards to the course that we are having. You have any doubts, you can post it on the WhatsApp. And thank you so much for joining the session. I hope it was helpful and meaningful for all of you.
Thank you. Bye everyone.